New photo assignment, but I wanted nature.
I want people.
Nature.
People.
Nature.
People.
Nature.
People.
Hey everyone, welcome to Keep Shooting Monday, number 69. My name is Greg Cazillo from Cazillo.com.
And I'm Kathy Azar from Catherine Azar Photography.
So, how do you like the new sign?
We have something to share.
Yes, our Keep Shooting photo assignments are now sponsored by Epson. Newly sponsored by Epson. They have a nice surprise coming with them. The #1 winner for all photo assignments through 2014 will win a 16 by 20 print printed on the 3880 photo printer. And the second place and the other people that we choose will also receive 11 by 14 prints. Again, printed on the 3880 photo printer. And I'm going to do the printing, they're not. So if you want me to tweak something or make it look a different way, we can certainly do that. So
just so that we're clear, it's printing their image, the one that wins.
Yeah, printing your image.
Not something that you're giving them.
You're not getting anything of mine. You're going to get one of yours. So, yes, you'll send me that high-res JPEG once we choose it, and we might even show it off during the show.
Absolutely.
The following week's show, like, hey, here was the winner from last week. Why do we like it? Maybe talk about it again. But, yeah, we want to thank Epson for it. They're the new sponsor, again, of the Keep Shooting Monday photo assignment. And like we just teased you with a minute ago, I wanted nature, Kathy wanted to add people, so we're going to leave it up to you.
But it has to have at least nature in it. So you can do just a nature element, or you can have something sweet like a little girl smelling a flower, so you incorporate a person into the nature. But nature has to be, seasons are changing everywhere, whether you're in the northern hemisphere or the southern.
Yep.
Right here in the northern hemisphere, spring is blooming finally, and so we're celebrating that.
Yep, so have fun, do flowers, do trees, do kids rolling in a field, do anything you want as long as you chose some nature in there.
Be creative. Maybe get some macro shots.
Outdoors. Maybe we should make that the main requirement is outdoors. Can't be anything indoors, although you still have nature indoors. We can have flower indoors.
Just be creative and do something that's going to wow us.
So, yeah, exactly. Please wow us. Make this first one really awesome so we can print a really cool 16 by 20 and get those out to you. And, of course, the 11 by 14s for the runners up. Due by Friday, May 30th, posted over to the forum. Twitter, all that good stuff is not accepted for entries. Has to be posted over to the forum by Friday, May 30th at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Good chance to get your name out there and share it.
Thank you, Epson.
Indeed.
So, what else is going on, Kathy? You want to start with that wedding thing?
Well, that came from one of our questions from one of our viewers.
Oh, we'll come back to that then.
Yeah.
All right. So, this was an interesting little video that was posted on Petapixel. Wally McNamee did a little interview and basically like a biography kind of the photos that he had taken and working with JFK. This was really cool, I thought, how he was talking about the individual image and had a story about it, and the one with Junior climbing out a little hole in the desk was just so cool. And then, of course, another famous photo of Jacqueline standing there with blood still on her dress when she's getting off of the plane. Just some really amazing, famous photographs, and having the story and the photographer's perspective on that I thought was really cool. So make sure you check that out. It's only a couple minutes long. Like 8.5 minutes long is all longer that video is. So it's definitely worth watching. Check that out.
What would you think about doing that, becoming the president's photographer? Would you like that or not?
No, because I don't want to be told what to photograph and what not to photograph. How did you guess? As cool as it would be, I would hate every minute because they're going to tell you, get out, don't do this, don't do that.
I think it seems
you can't do this. This is an awesome image, but no, it's never going to see the light of day.
Gotcha.
That would piss me off, and that's never going to happen. So, no, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. That's why my #1 job that I ever want to do in photography is work for a family. That, I think, would be a lot more fun. Yeah. So, one other video that I found, this time posted by the Photoshop Training Channel. I have seen so many people select things in Photoshop and do it the wrong way all the time, but this one shows you a really awesome way to do it. Hair is the hardest thing to select in Photoshop, so this video shows you how to do it, whether you have an old version of Photoshop or whether you have CC or CS6 and the newer versions. It works, and it works really well.
And by the way, the picture of the woman who is used as the sample is what I look like in the morning.
Are you sure? We should have done that with you then. Maybe we'll do that another day.
I scare small children with my hair.
So yeah, and she has some frizzy hair, so yeah, it's interesting. But hair is the toughest thing, but here's the ultimate tutorial basically on how to make that work. Coming up later in the show, we're going to talk about the printer, the Epson WorkForce 4540 review. But Kathy brought this one to this article up that talked about the 10 best photo printers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. 5 of the 10 are Epsons.
5 of the top 10 are Epsons, and 4 of the top 10 are the actual top of the 10.
Yes.
Even. So yeah. If you do any Googling of top photo printers, Epson comes up on most of those, if not all, that I Googled searches.
No matter what, every printer, every machine, every camera, every anything is going to have its drawbacks. You know, even this table that we're sitting at has a drawback because people commented that it wobbles. So everything is going to have a drawback. So don't get stuck on those little things. You got to look at the big things and the big picture stuff that's really going to work for you. Obviously, you know, if you want to print 8x10s, a little picture mate isn't going to work because it only prints 4x6 and you got to jump up. For $600, $599 for the R2000, it is a really good printer, has a lot of great features, and Kathy's going to try it out for a new printer user. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll even do a little segment over at your house with like a new printer user.
Sure.
Maybe we'll do that. That'll be interesting. Setting it up. Okay, so now you're not allowed to use it yet. That's all right, because you bought your new camera and you haven't touched it yet either.
I thought we were going to set it up on the show. I've been dying to use it.
So,
see my sacrifice for everybody?
Yeah, so the 4540 review is coming up in our next segment, but we had a question, right?
Oh, about the, yes. Wedding photography, getting people out of your way.
So here's our question for the day. Was there someone that actually brought that up and sent that article? Oh, it came out of the forum?
Yep.
Okay.
It's from Jerry. You should have had the bride and groom introduce you at the dinner. Oh, wait, sorry, back up. Wedding guest. Oh, this is a long one. It's basically about having people getting in the way, getting attacked by people rushing up, missing the cake smashed at the first wedding because of people running up to take pictures. Second one wasn't prepared but almost shoved into a wall. Thank goodness there were some mirrors, so I got some okay pictures. Whenever I stepped forward to help pose and would step back, there would be the same lady taking my place each time. Yeah, so yes.
Well, the first thing, number one, that's what the hairy eyeball's for. You give somebody the hairy eyeball and you just stare them down and you kind of...
It also helps when you're 6'4".
True, very true. But you give them the hairy eyeball, and typically, and they, you also need to, when you're doing the hairy eyeball, you got to stare at them for a while. You can't just give them a quick glance. You got to stare at them for a while, and you don't even need to say anything at that point if you have a good hairy eyeball.
I prefer that being nice to people and saying, excuse me.
It can work. It can work. But not everybody. Not everybody's going to get out of the way. And if that person keeps doing it...
You have to talk to people sometimes. But it's hard in the middle of a wedding if people are jumping out into the aisle and you have your 70 to 200 and need to be back and they're jumping in front of you. That's really tough.
Sometimes you can wait for those farther away shots. What I'll typically do is I'll wait for the stuff to calm down. And then I'll back up and do those shots from the back. People to sit back down, people to put their camera away. Then I'll get those super wide shots.
But sometimes if there's a moment like the exchange of the rings or the kiss or whatever, you don't have time to let people calm down.
True, but that's where you need to be ready to go and up forward in front of everybody. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's partially a matter of knowing when to shoot what, and it's also a matter of being in the right place at the right time.
Especially when you're 6'4".
Yes, the moments, the individual moments, those individual times, rings, kiss, all that stuff, you need to be front and center, you know. But then when things calm down, they're talking about other stuff, back up, do your wide shots, get the whole room, pull out the fisheye for one or two, not a lot, just a couple. Fisheye, seasoned to taste, just a couple, just a couple.
So when we saw that question, I'm a big Googler and looking for more information. So I found an article, Wedding Photos When Snap Happy Guests Go Too Far. And so it presents both sides of the story.
Yep.
Some people are electing to have unplugged weddings where guests either have to turn off their cameras, their phones, which have become their cameras.
Yeah, exactly.
And some even go as far as having a basket where you're supposed to turn your phone in, which, you know, that's really pushing the envelope a bit. And other people are taking the complete opposite tack and are encouraging their guests to photograph and hashtag the images and putting them online and having a very media-centric wedding. So it's up to the individual taste, I suppose.
I guess so. Yeah.
I really like the idea of having an unplugged wedding and having people invested in the wedding, listening to what's going on, being part of the ceremony. So many people just try to get through the ceremony to the actual reception when the ceremony is actually the most important part of the wedding.
But there's so many, you know, photographers have been trying to get brides to do that forever and ever since,
I know.
You know, amateur had a camera in his hand. But we've been trying to get the brides to you know, they'll put it on their invitation. They, you know, they do it on all these different places or whatever. It never makes a difference. People are still going to pull out their phone or their iPad. Oh my goodness, why would you use an iPad
and that's
as a
the
camera?
worst, because then you've got this, even if you're taking shots as the professional, you've got this big iPad.
Yeah.
And I have a friend who's a wedding photographer, and she had someone with like a neon green cover on the back of the iPad, so every photo that was wide had this ugly cover in it. So, and then you've got the problem with the flash too. If you're trying to get that important picture and someone flashes next to you, they've just ruined your shot.
Yep.
So
yeah,
it's a balance.
You got to talk to people. You got to say something. And worst comes to worst, try out the hairy eyeball.
And grow a few inches.
That could help. Up, not always out. I don't think there's anything else we wanted to talk about today, right? Was that it?
We want to go talk about our printer.
Yep. So let's pull out the 4540 and see how much money we saved. Because I saved a lot of money by going with a 4540 printer rather than going to Staples and get it all printed. The question comes to mind, why is a photographer reviewing a document printer? Because I need to print a lot of documents. I should have grabbed one, but I'll put a screenshot up. I printed about 1,200, 1,300 documents on this printer. This is the Epson WorkForce 4540. It's an inexpensive document printer. When you need to print a higher volume of documents, this is the way you want to go. Of course, you can take your photo printer like the R2000 or 3880 and you can print a regular document here and there. And you know what? If it's a home machine or a home printer, that's probably fine because, you know, like the kids are just going to need to print something out every once in a while. You're probably going to, it's not going to be a big deal. Would you agree? You don't print a lot at home, do you, with the kids?
I'm printing more and more, but...
All right, but it's mostly like documents and stuff. What kind of machine do you have at home?
I have an old HP.
Old HP? Okay.
One of the things that...
Probably cost you an arm and a leg for ink, right?
Arm and a leg for ink, and it's so slow.
Yes. Yes. Here's a quick little video clip that I did. This thing spits out documents like you would not believe. It's rated for, I think, 14 color and 17 black. It duplexes, meaning it'll print front and back, which is really cool. I don't think there's any other printer in this category. This thing on sale about a month, it was on sale a month ago or so at Staples for $200. You're probably going to be able to find it pretty close to that. That is a steal for this printer. So a couple of features that are in this thing. First, you have two 250 sheet holders, trays, all right, for paper. The bottom one will actually hold legal size paper, again, 250 sheets or so, depending upon the thickness of the paper. I'm actually a little bit bigger than the machine, but don't be, you know, the whole size thing. It's actually a little bit bigger than you think. About 16 inches by about 18 inches wide. Maybe a little hair under that, but it's pretty close to that. So for having all these features, it's still not a big printer. Like my old laser that had a smaller paper capacity, and it was a little faster though, was like another third on top of this.
Wow.
And it probably weighed triple what this one does. A couple other features. You have an auto document feeder up here for when you're scanning. Of course, you can do the regular copy thing, which is nice. But
you can fax.
Yep, it has the built-in fax. Who uses a fax anymore anyway?
Every once in a while.
Some people. Some people do. It's nice to have, I guess. We probably won't use it around here, though.
We had just had, my husband was rolling over 401ks or whatever, and he had to fax the information because sometimes they're not allowed to accept it.
As an electronic copy, really?
Yep, so
interesting.
We have to do it.
Okay. Well, anyway, at least you have the option of it, maybe.
At least I know that you have one now, so you can come fax
Well, it's
here.
not hooked up to the telephone line. That's the problem. Yeah, the manual feeder here in the back. I don't know what the capacity is of that manual feeder, but it's enough. I ran some cardstock just today through that thing and printed just fine.
It's Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi. Able to sit it wherever you want in the house. All you need is power. Plug it in. You have the on-screen display. I love this little on-screen display. It's actually real nice and easy to use. A lot of them are very confusing, but this one, once you get used to it, it's quick and easy. Just blow right through it, and it's very similar to some of the menus. Yeah, the other menus in some of the other printers. This is actually for scanning. You can scan directly to a flash drive. Just plug that stick in, it'll scan right to it. I actually tried that out. Works just fine. I've used Acrobat to scan with it also. It'll pull the images and scan right through the document feeder. I put a stack of about 30 of them in there. Worked fine, except when the papers are a little jagged or you stuff a couple too many in there. Then what ends up happening is sometimes it'll backfeed them. It'll pull them back in, it'll flip them, it'll do some weird things. But I blame that on the paper. I don't blame that on the printer.
Or the user.
Yeah, the paper that I was feeding it was not the neatest and the flattest. So it is what it is. Any kind of a document feeder like that is going to have issues with it. But the main things, the quality of the machine, very good. The speed of it is really good too. 100 copies only takes maybe 5 or 10 minutes to print, depending upon how much coverage, which is awesome. You know, you really get a good amount of speed and get the project done and move on. Now, cost. Staples, if I was to go to Staples or, you know, wherever here in the United States and get copies done, usually they're anywhere from like 50 cents or 40 cents a copy, all the way up to 99 cents for a color copy. That's a lot of money for copies.
I just did it. I paid 50 cents a copy.
Yeah, that is a lot of money to spend for a single piece of paper.
Absolutely.
I figured out the cost of this machine. Say I had bought it on sale for around $200. That's it. The first cartridge that I put in was a magenta. I put that in at about 800 sheets, and in the other 3 I had to fill, or I had to replace at about 1200 or 1300 sheets. So the black, the yellow, and the cyan, that's when I ended up filling those. The cartridges are very big, so you do get a lot of ink in them, so they last quite a while. And they're only about $25 a piece.
Oh.
So which is nice because that's what you pay for the tiny little ones.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a good price. Anyway, for all those copies, 1,200, 1,300 copies, we probably spent, including the paper and the machine, like $275. 50 cents a copy, $600. Which one do you want to spend? Do you want to get your own printer and be able to do it whenever you want? Have a good quality, a quick turnaround without having to drive to the store? Or do you want to drive to the store and pay almost triple or at least double the amount for those copies? So it's been a really good machine. Very happy with it. Thank you, Epson, for sending it over. If you need high volume in your studio or at home, this is the way to go. Nice and inexpensive, all the stuff. So thank you again, Epson, for sending that over. Get your photos over and in for the assignment. Again, they are due on May 30th, I think I said.
Put some people in them.
Yes. People, if you want. Put some people in it. Just do a peace, Kathy. Please. Please. And now I'm going to have to pick a person, a portrait in one of the photos. Maybe I'll have to influence that. We'll see. Thanks, guys. Keep shooting. See ya.